Alrighty, so I figured I would go over Skuld and whether or not I think she is worth it. She comes in a six pot with 50 to 200. The box contents are 500 to 700, 800 to 1,000. Drops of ether, which isn't bad. And then weapon, defense gear, and monster for the jackpots. Let's look at how expensive the trade-in is. 8,800. And again, it has 6, so that comes out to, going over to spawn calculator, that is an average of about 579 gems. Keep in mind though, the spread is massive. The luckiest that you can get it is in 405 gems, and the most unlucky is going to be 1,300 gems. So I wouldn't go into this spawn if I didn't have like 900 gems, just to be on the safe side. So keep that in mind when you're spawning. Now, is she actually worth it? Well, let's go one monster, one thing at a time. She only hits one enemy, but she hits a total of 20 times, and her ability power is a little bit lacking, but it's not bad. Against single targets or only a few targets, so for example, in something like Colosseum, if there are only 2 enemies left, this should be able to just instant kill the last 2 enemies. Not necessarily going to be the case all the time. If you're up against super mega whales, then there's a chance that they survive. But generally speaking, this will get the job done against a few enemies, and against single target bosses, this will do quite a bit of damage. But against groups of enemies, like 5 enemies on the enemy team, you may even be lucky to kill 1 enemy. So keep that in mind. And stuff like PvP. Reduces healing by 100%. It's another really interesting one. Unison League has fallen in love with this, I guess, and it's coming out on all of the monsters nowadays. A demerit that reduces damage taken by the enemies to 0 one time, which is really annoying. Applies diffusion to all allies. Absolute, which is the triple proc. Ambush, which is, in my opinion, the second best field, arguably the second best bubble, arguably the first best bubble. It kind of depends on the situation and what class you're playing. The class variation matters a lot for ambush field, but generally it's a really, really good bubble. It's the infinite ability bubble. And then the first of its kind, the Star Spirit's Crest, which gives you 40 star element and the 25% Dark Bane, which is really nice. 40k in stats. I don't know why A-Team does this. Yeah, it's just bad. It's just awful. All allies applies Rage. Rage is not the thing that I would like to see here. I'd like to see something like Dawn, since this is a more PvE focused monster. And Rage also doesn't give you penetration, so it's not like if it was going to be more of a PvP monster, I'd want to see something like Twilight or Kijin or something else like that that gives you penetration, but just disappointing. Awakening, rejection resistance, and Dark Star by 700 uni defense. The Dark and Star, keep in mind, both beat 2 elements. Dark beats light and time. Star beats light and dark. So you're essentially getting 1,400 for each of these for a combined 2,800 total uni down or uni defense from uni damage. So just keep that in mind. It's pretty nice. And then as far as the weapons, these weapons, in my opinion, suck. They max out at 6XL, which is on the low side. You also have to scale them with the gear type, which can be quite annoying, but it maxes out at 3. The proc rate's only XL. And It recovers 10 cost, restores HP, and doesn't guarantee a crit. It just increases your chances of critting. Now, it looks like it increases your chances by like 65%, if I remember correctly. I looked at it earlier, but this is not a guarantee of critting, which is just atrocious. As far as I forgot to go over the monster. But as far as PvE and for like free to play players, these procs are like a 4 out of 10. They'll just get you by until you get something better. I would never recommend infusing these for anyone. Let's talk about the monster. I forgot about the PvE, new players, all that stuff. For new players, this is not a great monster. There's not enough not enough buffing that I can justify it for new players. And for free-to-play players, I would also avoid this. This is mainly a PvE monster meant for difficult quests, specifically difficult dark quests because of the Darkbane. But Spirit's Crest is good against light as well. Now, this monster is kind of interesting in the sense that you can kind of use it for PvP and guild battles. It's much better in guild battles. I would never recommend using this in PvP as a solo throw unless they only have one enemy left or two enemies left. Just because there's no guarantee that you'll be able to kill with just using this monster, and it doesn't give you penetration, so a solo throw with this type of monster is really risky. I wouldn't recommend it. Diffusion is good, Absolute's good, Ambush is good, all these things are good. So you could argue in certain situations, if you have a really excellent proc, for example, if you have Ravaging or the Mandate procs, and you can guarantee that you have enough of them that you could kill the enemies outside of this, there's a potential that this type of monster could be quite valuable in PvP. But why would you use this when there are plenty of other monsters that do basically the same thing and also give you stuff like a field or a negative field to the enemy, uni-boost your team? When you're in something like PvP or Coliseum, you don't want to risk things, and this is just not a top tier monster. I'd say overall though, she's like a 4 out of 10 for PvP. And for guild battles, this would be an awful first round throw. It doesn't give you penetration or anything like that, and it doesn't uni boost your team, it doesn't uni down the enemy team. The only thing that you're really doing is stealing a crest and potentially allowing your racers to race faster. But if you have uni, why wouldn't you just uni boost your team in the first round? So it doesn't make any sense for the first round throw. Now a second round throw, if you're like in a clash with the enemy team, now that kind of makes sense for guild battles, because she does hit quite a few times. Plus she applies things like healing reduction, which can be nice against some abilities that things like Rooks can apply, which is a healing over time, even for stuff like CP. The Diffusion and Absolute are quite good. The Ambush is also really good. The Spirit's Crest sucks for this. You won't even really notice Rage, to be honest, because you'll probably get a bunch of other buffs from winning the clash. So it's kind of an interesting monster. I don't know if I'd recommend using it necessarily, but if you don't have a whole lot of options and you're wanting to throw something like a time like Dark Star throw, this could be a potentially good throw as a newer player. As a long-term player though, there are much better options, things that do way more damage or buff way more efficiently. So I would just recommend throwing those, especially since this crest is basically just like stealing the crest. It's not actually a good crest for DPS on the crystal because it only gives you stats and there are no elements on crystals. So I would just recommend avoiding that. For guild battles, second round clash, I'd say that this is like, again, 3 or 4 out of 10 for most players. Now, when it comes to like the backline 5 monsters, the 60k is really unfortunate. Rejection resistance is good. Again, 60 is kind of on the low side. We could boost that up a little bit. And we're missing something else too. A lot of good backline 5 monsters have 2 resistances against very valuable things. And then Dark and Star are actually quite valuable if you're struggling to stack things against light and time. However, I don't think that that's usually the case. And generally speaking, time defense is one of the most valuable things, as well as light defense, because Dark and Star monsters, generally speaking, do significantly more damage than lots of other elements, like light and time. So it kind of depends. Of course, the meta is always shifting, but Dark and Star for 2800 total defense is actually pretty good. So as a backline 5 monster, if you don't have anything better, I mean, this is like a 7 out of 10. I would use this if I didn't have that type of monster pool that I do. Now, as far as the last bit, the defense gear, the constants are actually quite interesting. They're basically just reflection reduction, but they also have healing. So this is the second type. I believe the first was also a star defense gear, but this is the second time that a constant defense gear has come out, and the increased healing is significant here. Keep in mind that I have not personally tested this, but generally speaking, for really, really difficult quests, stuff like this is mandatory, because the enemies may apply a 100% healing down debuff to you, which can be extremely detrimental, because if they hit you with a percent move right after, you will be unable to heal. And so there's a requirement that you run a heal up constant. There are some, I think there are 37 and 36 cost free ones that come in lots of different spawns, but it's nice that it's on the same constant effect as a damage reduction, so that you can get it all wrapped into one. You don't have to run separate gear. But yeah, so if you have 100% healing reduction on yourself, but you have a constant that boosts your healing, you can still heal. Whereas if you don't have a constant that boosts your healing, if you get 100% healing reduction applied to you, you will just be unable to heal. Excuse me, you'll be unable to heal at all. So I actually like this defense gear. It would be good for some players. I think for new players especially, having a nice piece of gear like this for the long term would be significant. Now, I did want to talk briefly. Oh, and as far as the defense gear, you only need one of these types of gear. So you don't need to run this a whole lot of times. In fact, if you just run this once or twice and you just get the defense gear as a new player, I'd probably just stop there unless you really want this monster. Now, this spawn just came out, and I've looked it over. I have not done it. I don't think it's worth 15 gems, and I'm just gonna skip it. There are quite a few things in here that are not good procs. They're not good defense procs. They're not good offense procs. You got things like Wicked in here, and some of the monsters are also just like meh. So I would just recommend skipping this one. Keep in mind, we have 11th anniversary events coming up. So very soon, very, very soon, we're gonna have some excellent events going on. And generally speaking, there are lots of big monsters, lots of monsters with things like passives and other things that you'll really be excited for, much more than what's currently out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.